Have you ever experienced anxiety in your life? If your answer is yes, I want to introduce you to the natural remedies for anxiety. If you answer no to this question, you must either be God or a stone. Who doesn't experience anxiety in life on earth? Some do it less, others do more. It depends on the kind and the intensity of anxiety and the structure of your personality what kind of remedy you require for your anxiety. I remember my mother was a chronic patient of acute anxiety. I always saw her worrying about this or that. I was a child then. I could not understand why she kept worrying about what I felt was nothing so serious. Now I do. Now I understand why she always kept worrying even if nothing was really there to worry about. That was how her mindset had taken shape in her early childhood. But then, why did her mindset take the shape that it had taken through the years that she was growing along in her body and her mind? It became quite clear to me as she once narrated the story of her growing through her childhood years. When she came to her senses, she found her family passing through an acute crisis of very complex ego clashes between her mother's and her father's extended families. One of the elder brothers of her father was a rogue as well as a man of intrinsically violent nature. No lady ever got ready to marry him, so he was still a bachelor. Her mother had an extremely beautiful sister who had recently lost her husband and was living a widow's life, with what the hell living a widow's life meant in the culture of her land during those olden days. It used to be a socially helpless and a pathetic life those days in that land. One day another elder brother of my mother's father had some clash with someone belonging to her mother's extended family. In order to teach him a lesson, this brother fabricated a court case claiming that this widow was married to his rogue brother and the court should order her to live with him unless she sought a fresh divorce with that man. The fabricated case got registered in the court for hearing, and the hearings went on getting dates after dates extending to more than 7 years in all. The case turned to be a cold war between the two extended families and remained so for 7 long years. My mother's childhood got seriously neglected by both her parents as the court case distanced their hearts as well. On top of it, her mother gave birth to a child, that is, my mother's younger brother, who she poured all her love upon in the absence of any other cordial interaction within her family. The child was badly neglected by his mother, so my mother, who was herself a child, took it on herself to look after her brother. But this heavy burden of bringing up a kid of almost her own age proved to be a little bit too much for her capacity. She was always scared of her brother dying bereft of a proper care in her hands. It was then that the seeds of her lifelong anxiety got sown in her psyche. This was a story of someone, of course my mother, who developed anxiety in her psyche as a result of the challenging life experiences in her early childhood. But at times there are some children who are born anxious and remain so all through their life. I witnessed many an example of such personalities in my life, and kept wondering what it is that shapes a person's mindset even before one is born. On the other end of the spectrum, my father never worried about any damn thing even when his life was under real threat of loss. Even before I was born, it happened so during the riots in 1946 as the British were getting ready to leave India bag and baggage that a 400-strong mob attacked his house with an intention to burn it and its inhabitants alive. My father took out his licensed gun and started shooting at the mob in order to save his and his family's life. Within minutes 14 people in the mob got killed and the mob dispersed to save their lives. My father was arrested and tried in the district court that sentenced him to life imprisonment. An appeal was submitted in the High Court that took 6 months to acquit him of the charge of all those alleged murders, acknowledging his plea of shooting arbitrarily for self-defense. Even when he was behind the bars during hearings of his appeal in the High Court, he was busy writing poetry in his cell in the central jail. I never saw any anxiety on his face even in the later years of his life after I was born and came to my senses a few years after this incident. Well, whatever the causes of anxiety in the mindset are, what we are interested in is its remedy. My mother always kept taking mainstream medicines for alleviating her symptoms, but not a day was there that she went without an anxiety attack, which also affected her digestion as a negative side effect, giving her a perennial heartburn all through her life. I always saw her taking medicine without an iota of positive effect on her state of health. It shook my faith in pharmaceutical medicine at an early age in my life. So I refused to take it as and when I ever fell ill. It benefited me every time, rewarding me with a stronger immune system as I came out of the clutches of illness healed by organic natural remedies alone. I wish I had known some natural remedies for anxiety back in those early years of my life to have helped my mother too. Whatever, but I know them now. What are you afflicted with? Out of mild anxiety, acute anxiety, chronic anxiety, anxiety attacks, or scary panic attacks? What would the remedy of your choice be? A home remedy, a herbal remedy, or some other kind of natural remedy that you would like to pursue? Let me know.